Welcome back, YouTube fam. Now the excitement continues today as we're about to keep working on my 5.9 Cummins Maggie. So let me show you what we got real quick. So we got some Hamilton springs and push rods, and a nice pen that they threw in the box for us. Stickers. So we got the 103-pound springs for Maggie. That's gonna be going in, and some heavy-duty push rods. This box is so flimsy. Look at this. That's how it came too. So we got some nice push rods. Sorry if this is loud. Look at this thing. I don't know if you can read that. Hamilton 24 valve. So yeah, I'm excited. So I'm gonna be using this spring compression tool right here from Hamilton. Now this was about, I think I picked it up on sale for 65 bucks. Well worth it. And bought this barring tool from Fleas, not on sale, for 75 bucks. Now you bolt this onto your crankshaft pulley and you can use any 1/2-inch drive to turn the engine. So I don't know if I'm gonna be using this, but we'll see. I bought it just in case. Here's one of the springs, up close and personal. Very nice. 103 pounds. Now there's a lot more stuff that I have to take off in order to do this. I have to take out my injectors, the fuel lines, and the fuel rail, possibly. And the intake horn has to come out. So yeah, let's not waste any time. Let's go do this. All right, so like I said, a lot more stuff has to come apart in order to do the springs. We gotta take the injectors out because the spring tool sits right on top of that area right there. So to take that out, we gotta do the intake horn, we gotta do all the fuel lines, maybe the fuel rail, and then the injection tubes, which are right here. They connect to the injector. Then you can hook up your tool and do what you gotta do. So let's start with the horn right here and the dipstick. Everything right here is pretty much 10 millimeters. Life hack. Check out my shop light. 20 bucks. Harbor Freight. The same as that one right there. And that one. Super bright. I just grab one and put it right there. It works great. I can work 24 hours a day. Alright, so this is off. It was a 10 millimeter nut. See that right there? That was holding the wiring harness on this thing. Progress report. So I decided to just do the fuel lines because I didn't feel like spilling that much fuel, plus it wasn't really that bad. I just undo the mounting brackets right there in the middle and then just take the fuel lines off. If you have a tubing wrench, 3/4, that works best. That way you don't round off the fittings. So yeah, now we just gotta get these injection tubes out, which are 15/16. A box wrench or a socket, whatever works for you. I found a nut that fits, so let's see if that works. for these fire ones. Yep. Yeah, we don't need no special tool around here. Silly. Now that we got our injection tubes out of the way, we can start working on the injectors. Don't forget the last guy back there like I did. So dark in there I couldn't even see it and I wasn't even counting. Well, good thing I didn't try to pull the injector. Alright, we're all caught up now. We have to move these plate out of the way right here. This bracket, I mean. Just two 15mm nuts. No big deal. Just move it like that out of the way and then you can get to the last tube. Alright, now we gotta find top dead center. Or put the engine in top dead center. And then we can start on number 1 and number 6. And so on. Alright, so for you to be a top dead center, you want your crank pulley, which is that right there. That marking right there that says TDC with the line. You want that at 12 o'clock. Alright, that's how you know you're a top dead center. So we gotta rotate the engine because it's not quite at 12 o'clock, it's like at 2 o'clock right now. I know this is probably super hard to see, but there's TDC right there at 12 o'clock. Now look how high my coat hanger is on cylinder number 1. So what you want to do is, once you're at TDC on number 1, you want to put like a piece of tape or something around here, around the edge of where the injector goes, right there where my finger is. You want to put a piece of tape right there. That way you know what TDC looks like on each cylinder. So here's an example. Let me mark that real quick. Alright, so I got my piece of tape on there. See how it's on the top edge right there? So now let's check number 2. See how it goes way down? Look at that. So that's not a top dead center. So you don't want to do that cylinder. Check number 3. Nope. See? It's supposed to be right up here. It's going way down there. So if you were to do the cylinder right now, you'll probably drop a valve inside the cylinder. And then so on. See? That one's way down there too. So right now it's supposed to be... Oh my gosh, I almost fucking fail. So how you do it, you add up to 7. So 6 and 1 makes 7, 5 and 2, and then 4 and 3. So if it adds up to 7, you can do them at the same time. Alright, so we're ready to do number 1. Now this is how you want your engine to look, because you don't want to drop anything. There's a lot of tiny parts in here that you're going to be taking out, and you don't want it to be dropped into one of the cylinders or inside the engine. So you want to cover as much as you can. Alright, so you're gonna grab your tool and mount it where your injector would go. Maybe if it fits. Oh. So there's these notches right here. That's gonna go on your intake side. And then you're gonna mount it with the provided bolts. They're 10mm, just like everything else. You're gonna run those down. Oops. Alright. Nice and even. Grab your tool, and this is labeled exhaust intake. Alright, that's the exhaust. You can insert that just like so. Washer, provided washer, and nut. Alright, now you're gonna line it up so it's centered on all the valves. and all the valve keepers, so when you run it down you're not pinching one of the keepers. Then you're gonna need a 3/4 inch socket, or I'm using a ratchet wrench. And you're just gonna tighten it down. I still got one valve that is stuck, but this is how you get them out on the ones that are not stuck. So you're gonna pull on, grab a magnet, pull on the valve, see how you can control the valve, pull on it, and kind of get the keepers out of there. Kind of like guide them to the magnet so you don't lose them. Like that one. And there's the other one. Alright, now I just gotta work on this one valve that is stuck in there. Freaking victory. I was able to get it loose. So all I did, not very proud of it, but you gotta do what you gotta do. So all I did was stick the screwdriver on the side, right on top of the retainer, and I hit it a few times with this dead blow right here, and it popped right up. So didn't damage anything, so we're good. I'm not saying you should do the same thing, but that's what I did. We can finally put some springs in here. Get the old top hats off, put them right on. Boom. Alright, now we just gotta run this back down. Make sure everything's lined up. You want everything to be centered to the valve stem. Alright, that's what you want right there. And I want them to be hugging the valve stem. And you gotta make sure the valve's all the way up. When you're done, you give it a nice little love tap. Make sure everything's set. And that's it. Now I gotta do number 6. This is what I've been using to bar over the engine. I just got a 15mm socket to one of the bolts there on the crankshaft pulley, and it rotates pretty easy because there's no compression. All the injectors are out, so that's what I've been doing. Alright, about to do number 2. Let's check it real quick. Yep, that's good to go. This is literally the first one that I haven't had to hammer loose. I'm very grateful for it though. Alright, so let's do push rods. I thought there were different sizes for intake and exhaust according to Hamilton's website. But I measure every single one of them and everything is the same. And they're not labeled other than 12 millimeters. 24 valve, so I guess they're all the same now. So let's just do this real quick. You kind of know when it's in the right place because it feels like a suction cup. That's a big difference. Wow. There it is. Alright, so for 5 and 6, gotta remove this cap right up here. All right. Alright, all done. Look how beautiful that looks, man. It's like a masterpiece. Sucks I gotta put a valve cover back on. God, so pretty. Anyways, gotta put these plugs back up there to seal all the water from leaking down into the engine bay. Put the injectors back on, put everything back on, and run it for like 20 minutes. Then I gotta retorque these to 150, and then she's good to go. Kind of sucks I didn't buy injectors. I wish I would have bought injectors, but they're like $3,000. I don't have that kind of money, so I'm gonna have to save up and pretty much do this all over again. So I bought this O-ring kit so I can reinstall my injectors. It's good insurance just to you know, replace all the O-rings and clutch washers in there. You don't want to like put everything back on there and something starts leaking. So it's like 23 bucks I think. Picked it up at O'Reilly's. When you pull the injectors out, make sure all the crush rings come out with them. Some might be stuck down there. Just gonna clean these injectors real quick with some brake clean and slap some new O-rings in there and put them back in there. Alright, so real quick, this is your feed tube. Now your high pressure fuel comes in from your fuel rail right into this feed tube right here. When you install this, make sure these ball bearings right here are facing up. Otherwise you can't really get it in there all the way. And it just hooks up to your injector like that. That's why you can't just pull your injector out without pulling this feed tube first. You'll be just messing this thing up. So, and that's why this injector only goes in one way. See this hole right here? It goes towards the feed tube. All right. There's only one way you can install this. It's really hard to mess it up. So I'm just gonna swap these out real quick, all these O-rings, and lube it up and put them in. Alright, I don't know if you can see that, but there's like this little 4 pieces right there that kind of stick out so it can grab to the injector nozzle. So yeah, you're gonna have a hard time trying to get it started, but then I just carefully drove it down with the socket and this dead blow here. But yeah, they're a pain to get started, just so you know. Alright, so I'm gonna show you real quick how to do this. First things first, if your O-ring doesn't look like this, I mean covered in lube, it won't go in, I promise you. So make sure you put plenty of lube on your O-ring and pretty much this whole area right here before you try to put it in the hole. Alright, so you're gonna put in the injector first. That is gonna be aiming towards the injection tube, so like this. Round part towards the intake and the flat part towards the exhaust. Alright, grab a rag. If you don't hear that snap, it's not all the way in. Alright. Then you're gonna grab your injection tube. These are gonna be facing up. And stick it in the hole. Only goes in one way, so you just gotta find the. There you go. See that? That's not going in, and then when you turn it, it goes in. And then you're just gonna push it in. If you don't hear that snap, it's not all the way in. Next, you wanna put this collar in. Run down these bolts by hand. Alright. Next, you want to torque this to 11 foot-pounds. Right there. And then torque these to 44 foot-pounds. I mean, sorry. 44 inch-pounds. Big difference. So it's 11 foot-pounds. 44 inch. And you just want to run them down evenly. Alright. Now you're gonna do your final torque of 37 foot-pounds. And 89 inch-pounds. try to go quarter of a turn at a time. That's it, all done. All right, real quick for valve lash, you're gonna set it at top dead center, and you're gonna verify that both of the rockers on number 1 cylinder are loose. If they're not loose, then you gotta rotate another 360 degrees. All right, once you get them both loose, you're gonna check your valve lash, and it's gonna be 10 thousandths for the intake, and then 26 thousandths for the exhaust, and then you're gonna do 124 intake, 135 exhaust, rotate 360 degrees, and do 356 intake and 246 exhaust. Alright, so here's how you do it. Let's do the intake real quick. There it is. Yeah, tighten this down, the set screw down, until you get just drag. You don't want it to be tight, you don't want it to be super loose. You want a slight drag. Once you get the slight drag, you lock it down. Alright? And then you do the same thing for the exhaust, where the exhaust is gonna be 26 thousandths. Then when you're done, you can torque this nut right here to 18 foot-pounds. Moment of truth. If it blows up, you'll be the first witness. Where are my keys? Alright, we got fuel pressure. The valve train sounds a lot quieter. That's good. Now we wait 20 minutes. Well, that was fun. Not. Maybe only a little bit. I really dislike cylinder number 6. Like, however long it took me to get cylinder 1 through 5 done, double that, and that's how long it takes you to do number 6, and that's for everything. Valve lash and doing the springs. Pretty much everything. Super uncomfortable. Probably should buy like a topside creeper or something. My knees are killing me right now from kneeling on the bumper and everything else. Other than that, it's alright. I mean, she runs. Worst part is I still have to take it all apart again and re-torque the head studs. That kind of sucks. Hope this helped you at least a little bit. Give me a thumbs up if you liked it. As always, stay safe. Cheers.